A few weeks ago, we held the first community game jam. A few weeks ago, we held the second
So we recently held the third
official
fourth
game jam. Game jam.
If you haven't already guessed by now, I'm going to be doing a game jam. If you don't know what a game jam is, it's basically a contest where a bunch of nerds try to make a video game from scratch within a small time frame. And it's usually somewhere like between 24 to 48 hours. So far, all I've really been doing is just trying to get better at coding and using the Unity engine. And what better way to test my capabilities as a game developer than to torture myself with 48 hours to make a game from start to finish. So I opened up the itch.io page to look for some upcoming jams. Because of COVID and everything, I assume there probably isn't that many jams going on, right? Holy, there's so many jams. Yo, what? There's so many. Dude, the list never ends. What the fuck? The biggest one coming out was the Mixing Game Jam, which coincidentally starts on Friday the 13th. I don't know if that's supposed to be bad luck for me or something, but I'll see how it goes. Anyways, November 13th is like a week from now, so let's fast forward a bit. So I'm like almost 5 minutes late to the start of the jam. I really try my best to be on time, but sometimes that sleep is just so good, you just gotta So the theme for this game jam was announced to be mixing genres. So I started brainstorming some super creative ideas of what genres I can mix together. And by brainstorming, I mean like going to a random generator website and eventually I decided to try a music/rhythm puzzle type of game, which is really different from the type of games that I've made before. So this should be pretty interesting. The first thing I did was open up a new 2D project. So my idea was to have arc pieces slowly go towards the center to the beat of a song, and the pieces will slowly start to stack up, kinda like the classic game Tetris. Every arc piece will have a different color, and if 3 of the same color are adjacent to each other, the pieces will disappear and the player's score will increase. The goal of the game was to try to avoid overfilling the circle while also getting the highest score possible. That seems simple enough, so let's try to implement it. So it turns out I accidentally deleted some footage of the issue I was having, so my bad, but I'll try to make up for my kindergarten level animation. I was basically having an issue where the blocks wouldn't continue going towards the center of the circle after the block below it was destroyed. It would kind of just stay in the air. Another issue was that the blocks were just disappearing left and right, and I had no freaking idea why. After many hours of debugging, I couldn't really get anything to work, so I went to plan B and restarted on a completely new project. At this point, the pressure was really hitting me because I just wasted the entire day with nothing to show for it. So I decided to stick with what I'm familiar with and make a 2D bullet hell survival action shooter platformer. Yeah, that's a lot of genres. I really wanted to try pixel art for this game because I used to make cool characters and stuff in Minecraft out of blocks. And if you really think about it, pixels are just squares, and you know what else is a square? A block. You know what game is made up of a bunch of blocks? Minecraft. So upon further analysis, in Minecraft, when you place a series of patterns of blocks together, you form what is known as pixel art. So I guess what you can say is that Minecraft is really just one big pixel. So I gave it a try. I made my first pixel art character. I got some simple things working like the player movement and the shooting mechanics. Then I added some enemies with different behaviors like jumping and shooting. Yeah, as you can see, there's a lot of bugs I need to fix, but oh boy, would you look at the time. It's already 3 hours past my bedtime. So to stay organized, I made a list of stuff that I need to work on using Trello and went straight to bed. I officially have less than 24 hours left before the deadline to finish this game, and it's not looking too hot, chief, so I really gotta start picking up the pace. I usually just find free music online to use in my games, but I wanted to try learning to make my own since game jams are a perfect time to learn new things. I was so excited, like, yo, I'm gonna make the best soundtrack ever, let's freaking get it! The only thing I ended up getting was disappointment. I mean, just listen to this. So bad. So I went back to being a freeloader and finding royalty-free music online. I found this program called BFXR that I can use to generate sound effects, so that should save me some time, which I desperately need more of. After that, I added some post-processing, added an HP bar, and finally made my boy a pair of shiny golden jetpack boots. With some gameplay finally implemented, I went to work on the UI and made a simple death screen. I've been working non-stop for the past 5 hours, so it was time to take a break. Alright, break time's over, let's get back to work. Yay! I was playing my game to test it out and see what I should work on, and the gameplay seemed a little bit boring, so I added some TNT. No, not that TNT, this TNT. I also made a cute little drone enemy that shits out bombs from the sky, so you gotta constantly move around and dodge it, or get blown the fuck up. So it's already past midnight now, and I've been coding for the past 5 p.m. to 2 a.m. 9 hours. I've added a lot of new things, like making a few different level designs and an acid pool that disintegrates anything that falls into it. Well, almost everything. I also made an enemy wave spawner, so enemies now keep spawning and you have to survive as long as possible. Oh, what's this you're wondering? He's just the fattest, most annoying enemy in the game who shoots like 12,000 bullets every second, and it's so hard to kill him because your bullets just disappear every time you try to hit him. But even the toughest opponents can be overcome with perseverance and hard work. I also added a score system that goes up each time you kill an enemy, so basically each time you kill an enemy, the score goes up. There's also 2 more weapons that you can choose from now. We have the shotgun, which shoots like a shotgun, and we even have a rocket launcher for those of you who are seasoned crackhead gamers who love to boom 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 boom. But the most important change I made was giving Pink Boy a complete makeover. Sheesh! Yo, not gonna lie, my boy is looking kinda cute! The gameplay and everything seemed decent enough, and the game at least had some fun to it. The deadline to submit my game was at 10 a.m, and I still have some bugs to fix and some refining to do. But it's like 2 a.m, remember, so like I'm stressed, I'm tired, I'm sleepy, so I'm gonna go sleepy. I woke up at 9 a.m. sharp the next day, and if you don't believe me, here's some rock solid proof. I started getting ready to work on my game when, what's this? They're going to be extending the deadline by 1 whole hour? Thank you, Andre C. Dot. Since everyone got an extra hour, I used that time to go fix some bugs I was having and improving on my jetpack by making it have a time limit so you wouldn't be able to just fly forever. And with about an hour left, I was finally able to finish everything on my Trello list. I quickly made an icon for my game using Photoshop, and the last thing I had to do was build and export the game, then upload it to the itch.io webpage so I can submit it. It was a relatively straightforward process, and about an hour later, I submitted my game Blow 'em Up and officially completed my first game jam. Thank God I didn't run into any issues because your boy just barely submitted it on time. And that's basically it for this video. Thanks for watching, bye. Haha, just kidding, you thought it was the end of the video? Nah. There's a confession that I have to make. A large portion of my game Blow 'em Up was actually inspired by another YouTuber Danny's game Fair and Square. You can call it copying, but I believe that imitation is his sincerest form of flattery. But regardless, I still felt kind of unsatisfied because my game wasn't original enough and I didn't feel like it was my own product, even though technically I did make the whole game myself. So after the jam was over, I spent the next week making tweaks and updates, adding mechanics and features that I wanted to see in the game. What kind of things did I add? Not much, to be honest. All I really did was just update the moving platforms, as well as revamping the player and jetpack movement, added a bubble shoot and enemy spawn particles, added shotgun recoil, high score systems, of bug faces and more particles, 2 new weapons, the shuriken, the bomb, some jetpack sound effects, redesigned all 4 levels, new enemy sprite artwork, some more bug faces, pause mini camera transitions, more particles, more updates, more sound effects. And bada boom bada bing, here it is. I like to say the game is now amazing after all the updates, but unfortunately, when you take a piece of shit and polish it, in the end, it's still gonna be a piece of shit. Oh yeah, I should probably show the new features now. So here we have the moving platform moving stuff. Very nice. You can't really see this difference, but you can really feel the difference when you're playing the game. The controls are way less rigid and the movement is all much more fluid. There's an item you can pick up that gives you a bubble shield, which blocks all projectiles and damage except for the acid pool, because it's an acid pool and you die in acid. The shotgun now has a knockback effect, which can be used to launch a character really quickly, and if you use it in a certain way, this can lead to some pretty fun gameplay. I also added a high score system that saves between game sessions, so you can close the game and reopen it and your score is still there. I made some particles for the acid to make it seem much more like an acid pool, because before things just die on touch and it looked really weird. There's 2 new weapons. First is the shuriken, which has this kind of triple shot mechanic, which is a really low budget attempt at copying Genji from Overwatch's attack. I also added a bomb that you can throw in case you don't like rocket launchers but instead like being your childhood superhero Bomberman. So as I said, I redesigned the 4 levels that I had to make it more interesting. Some levels have platforms that are more than just a rectangle. Some levels have rotating platforms, springy platforms, and an acid pool coming out the side. This just made the levels a bit more fun to play and doesn't look as bland as just a few rectangles and squares. Lamau. I redid the artwork for all the enemies so they kind of all have one aesthetic, because previously, I don't know man, there are some strange looking enemies. Here's the pause menu, very cool. So for camera transitions, I transitioned the scene from the main menu and the start of the game by making the camera pan outwards when the game starts. The camera was also really static when playing the game, so I made some animations on the camera to make it slowly zoom in and out, and I mashed it up with the beat of the background music. These weren't super crazy changes, and it's one of those things that you probably won't notice that it's there, but if I compare it with how it was previously, you would definitely notice the difference. I added a death animation that animates on death, and for more visual feedback, the player flashes when you take damage and the HP bar also animates a little bit as well. I made the UI look better with some button animations and also added lots of inspirational quotes when you die because everybody likes some live, laugh, love. And finally, those are all the changes I made to blow them up since the game jam. The update is now live on my itch.io game page, so if you're interested and want to try the game out for yourself, the link is in the description below. Oh yeah, I also exported it as a WebGL file so you can actually play it in the browser without having to download the game. Not gonna lie, as cliche as it sounds, I learned a lot from the short game jam and hopefully, these skills will carry over so my future games won't end up looking like I put it together with some duct tape because it's kind of embarrassing. But you know, we all start somewhere, right? It's gonna be cringe, I'm sorry, but we're now at that part of the video where I have to ask you to like and subscribe, so please like and subscribe and I'll see y'all in the next video. And that's about it for this video. Thanks for watching. Bye.